Welcome to the Corsair Showcase at CES 2013, guys. I have with me today the man. You guys are a fan of this man, whether you know it or not. This is George Makris from Corsair. He is the mastermind behind the 800D and pretty much every case that's followed it. So he's the guy who's responsible for their cases basically just rocking the house. And this right here is the house that every other case rocked inside. George, tell us about the 900D Super Tower PC case. Welcome to Linus Tech Tips at CES 2013. Our trip to the show this year is powered by Corsair, maker of quality PC components and peripherals. Our trusted storage partner is Seagate Technology, and our trusted networking partner is Linksys.
All right, well, when we launched 800D about 3.5 years ago, we got a lot of people really interested. It was our first case, and we made a lot of changes that everyone kind of liked, so like rubber grommets and cable routing stuff, things like that people really dug. But then, you know, if you're any kind of a creative person or a perfectionist at all you see on like forums is the criticisms. Like the 1,000 guys who love it, that's fine, that's great. But the like 2 guys who are like, oh, it's, you know, it should have more radiator space or whatever. So since we launched that, I've been like keeping a mental checklist of the things that I wanted to fix based on like people that said online like, oh, it should have more radiator space or it should be a little bit bigger or whatever. And so that's what this is basically, hey, I've listened to it, I fixed it, these are all the really cool things you guys wanted, and then some other stuff we thought of that maybe you didn't know you wanted. So first off, the first complaint, a lot of people said, well, you know, it's only got 7 or 8 slots. When we put 10 slots here, so you can put a bigger motherboard in. It fits HPTX motherboards like the SRX or any dual processor board. Still got the standard cable routing stuff with even more space behind it. It's got room for a 480 or a 420 up top. And then down here, if you take these cages out, you can put another 480 or 420 on this side. Or you can put a dual power supply in here. With that power supply installed, you can actually put a 240 or 280 on that side, as well as the 480 or 420 over here.
Okay, so hold on a minute. I'm going to stop you here for a minute because I think we need to clarify this point. I can put a 480 in the top, a 240 here, and a 480 here, and probably one back here.
Yeah, and then on the front you can do a 240 or a 360 also.
So that is all native.
That's all native. You don't have to drill any holes or anything like that, so it's all taken care of for you. It's a little bit goofy, but I don't really expect too many people to load up every spot with radiator spacing.
Someone will.
But, well, yeah, there's going to be someone. I know who did because we did it. We're doing a photo of it. But there's going to be guys who wanted maybe to put a 480, but they don't necessarily want to put it up top. They want to put it on the bottom. Or maybe 2 guys want, you know, I want to put 3 240s in my case, but I want to choose where I put them. So this gives them that flexibility. So kind of my mindset is let's give people the flexibility to do a bunch of different things and see how they do it, and like give them that chance. And I don't like mandating how you do stuff, so that's what this case is really designed to do.
Well, that's one of the things that made the 800D so special, was that there was one way to do it that was really, really good.
Yeah.
Whereas what we're doing with the 900D then is
taking it to the next level, kind of. So for example, we had a hot swap bay on the 800D that was front accessible. A lot of people liked that. Some people say they didn't care about it. But a lot of people did like the idea of hot swapping drives. So we still have, one of these cages has hot swap connectors on the back of it. So you can do 3 hot swap bays, and they're real easy access. So you can just pop this open, pull this out, and you take your drive out and put it back in. Unlike the 800D, the hot swap drive trays are tool-free now. So you don't have to screw the drives in like you did on the 800D. So that's even better. The other side is that hot swap bay is relocatable. So if you don't want it down here and you want to put it up here instead, you can remove it and move it around.
And the water cooling guys will love that, because now they have just a ton of options.
Yeah, exactly. And then the other thing we did is on these cages, you have the airflow in the front from the front 3 120s that are there by default, but each cage has fan mounts on the back, so you can do push-pull on your hard drive cage as well, so you can keep better airflow across.
Right there, guys.
So we've done that on some of our smaller cases like the C70 or the 400R, 500R, but this takes it kind of, let's take those features that people really liked about those cases and put them up on our flagship. So that was one of the things that was kind of funny is you sat down and wrote a feature list out. Sometimes like the 400R, 500R had better features than like the 800D. It had 8 full slots, which the 800D didn't have. It had 7 and kind of an 8th slot that was a dongle slot. But this is designed to be kind of, okay, let's take all that cool stuff and add it up to the next level and make it more ridiculous.
Do you want to show us the front of the case?
Yeah, let's show over here real quick. So you get the nice aluminum fascia still. This is a cast aluminum surround. It's a complete piece of cast aluminum. It's done for structural rigidity and a little bit of weight savings over steel. If we had done this out of plastic, it would have been a little bit cheaper, but it wouldn't have been anywhere near as rigid. And I think if you see a lot of cases that are plastic and steel, they have a lot of flex to them, because especially full towers and bigger, because you really need that rigidity of heavy metal at that time. So on the front, you have a floating bezel that just pops right off like a speaker grill would. So you have these 4 mounts here. And then just like the 600T or 650D, you just have the removable dust filter on the front. So you can really easily access that. So it's a pretty easy setup. By default, this case will come with 3 120s in the front and a 140 in the back for cooling. And it's got really good air cooling performance as well, which is the other thing people with the 800D said, you know, it's great for water cooling, but I want to air cool my system for a while. And you know, if I put 2 or 3 GPUs in there, it's kind of hard to get good cooling on that. This case doesn't have that problem.
Now those don't appear to be standard 5 1/4 inch bays up there.
Not. So these are bigger than 5 1/4 inch bays, and we did it because not many people are using optical drives anymore. So we figured, okay, look, you know, for the width of the case and the look of the case, we had to get something that was able to hold those drives if you wanted them, but not necessarily kind of the same thing. So this pops out, and you get a bezel. Let's see if I can get this to work here a sec. Again, like I said, it's a prototype. So this pops out, and it gives you, we've textured this and made this look pretty nice. And when you put a drive here or a drive here or a drive here, they look pretty good. But yeah, you will notice it's not the same width as the rest of the case. So, you know, this is one of those things that I think that people immediately, the modders and stuff, are going to find ways to stealth this piece. So they get a stealth optical drive or a stealth fan controller. And like I said, this is tool free, but that's optional. You can just put screws in it and go to town on it however you like. This is going to be one of those things people are going to mod.
Yeah, that's fantastic. I mean, to clarify, I don't think George believes that few people use optical drives, but few people buying a case of this caliber need an optical drive anymore.
I haven't had an optical drive in quite a while in my case, and to be honest, I don't really miss it. So everything I install a game, it's off Steam or whatever. So I haven't actually purchased software on CD for probably 2 or 3 years. So.
Lots of front I/O.
Yeah, there's 2 USB 3 and 4 USB 2s on there. We didn't want to add stuff like, a lot of cases have fan controllers or like a card reader or something like that. That adds cost to the case, and to be honest, whatever we put in there wouldn't be the best in the world. If you're going to buy a $350 case, my guess is you probably also did a lot of research on your fan controller and care very deeply about what fan controller you buy. And whatever fan controller I put in there, you guys wouldn't find is good enough. And if I did put the best fan controller in the world in there, it would cost me an extra $20 or $30 to do a really nice DC fan control method thing. And I don't know that you would want to pay $380 or $390 or $400 for that case because it has fan control over it. So my guess is I'll give you guys the freedom to put whatever card reader or fan control you guys want and keep the cost out of it. So this case is only $50 more than the 800D. It's $350 instead of $300. And the reason we were able to get to that so reasonably with adding all the size and all the features is because we took out like fan control and some of the other stuff. And the hot swap bay is a lot less expensive version. So the old 800D had a kind of a server hot swap bay that we just stuck in there. This is a much more user-friendly and actually more compatible version than you guys will see. So
cable management wise, do you have just as much room behind the motherboard tray, or is it even more than the 800D?
It's a lot more than the 800D. So this is about 1.25 inches, depending on what area you're in. So you actually have room to fit more. Like, I mean, I don't have the world's smallest fingers, and I can get my hand back there pretty easily. So
okay, here, let's get a good shot of that. There we go.
That's not.
Very, very nice.
So it's a lot of space back there. And we took if you've ever seen the back of our C70, we have these plastic latches for cable tie down. We have 3 of those back here too, but we made them a little bit bigger, a little bit more robust, and a little bit stronger for the more cables that the guys who have a case like this would have. So almost everybody who buys a $350 case would have SLI or something like that. And this, we know that you're going to have more cables. And as you can see with the power supply here, the cables go up underneath that motherboard tray through a cable routing cutout that's down there. So you can just kind of stealth it and go straight up. So it's a pretty nice way to restrict that.
All right. Well, I think that covers it pretty much as well as anyone could. Thank you very much, George. Guys, don't forget to subscribe to Linus Tech Tips so you can check out all of our CES 2013 coverage. And guys, leave a comment for George under the video to show your appreciation for his hard work and the way he has acted. No, I'm serious, man.
No, I'll be reading those comments and like looking for you guys to say mean things about me, and it's always nice. I love the internet. Like 90% of you guys are totally cool, and like the other 10% are like, you know, click this if you liked Corsair, and there's a 1,000 thumbs up under the Linus video.
Guys,
and then the next one makes a bad comment about my hairstyle. So, I love you guys.
Thanks, guys. Thanks for watching Linus Tech Tips at CES 2013, powered by Corsair, Seagate Technology, and Linksys.